The Philly Show is presented by Fox One, Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zalecki. It's Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. The Phillies season is on the brink following Monday night's 4-3 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 2 of the NL Division Series. They are down 0-2 in the best-of-5 series. We need to talk about what happened on Monday night. It's time for the Park's first pitch. First Pitch is brought to us exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. Guys, here we are. A lot of talk all season long about where this team could go and what they might be able to do in October. And now they are one game from elimination and might not even win a postseason game after last Monday night's 4-3 loss to the Dodgers. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll just say it's hard to believe when you look at where this offense is. But again, it's not hard to believe. We've been talking about this honestly for years. How this offense can be up one day, down the next, up 1 week, down the next. How they rely on their big boys to take them where they want to go, and their big boys are ice cold. The Dodgers haven't really hit, but Phillies haven't hit either. And the Dodgers have definitely been more opportunistic. And the team that in a best of 5, 80 times, the team that has gone out 0-2 has lost 80 out of 90.
Yeah, the team that has gone out 0-2 has lost 80 out of 90 times in postseason history. The most recent comeback from a 2-0 deficit was the 2017 Yankees, ALDS. In the current division series format, that's a 2-2-1 format where the road team win games both 1 and 2. They've won 16 out of 18, including 12 sweeps. The 2015 Blue Jays are the last team to do what the Phillies want to do. So it's been a decade since somebody's done what the Phillies want to do.
And the Dodgers are a bear, and Dodger Stadium is a bear. Yamamoto is on the mound, and the Phillies are turning their lonely eyes to Aaron Nola. To me, a head-scratching decision. This team is in dire straits, Ruben.
Yeah, that's in a tough situation for them, and they created it themselves. Great pitching performances by the two starters. I think the two lefties have done a good job. Luzardo deserves a lot of credit for the way he handled things under a great deal of pressure, and there's a lot of question about how he could handle that. He handled it very, very well. But the big boys and pretty much the entire lineup, they didn't handle it well. And so they put themselves in a tough position. This is what happens in playoff and postseason play. You have to make the plays. You have to get the base hits, the big base hits, not home runs, the big base hits. And you have to make the pitches. And so far, they have not done either of the three. The Dodgers have done the three of them a little bit better, and that's why they're 2-0, and the Phillies are 0-2.
And boy, did Max Muncy and Mookie Betts make a defensive play on Monday night.
Unbelievable play.
The Phillies have. We're going to talk about some of those big plays, big moments that happened. We're going to talk. Jim, I'm with you. We're going to talk about Aaron Nola starting Game 3. Ruben, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Game 3 and some of these things. Phillies now have lost 5 out of their last 6 home playoff games.
It's no longer bedlam at the bank.
It's no longer bedlam at the bank. It's no longer 4 hours of hell. They were getting booed last night, which I 100% understand. Fans are frustrated. They're like, are you kidding me? Those boos were literally saying, are you kidding me? Let's go. And then when Edmundo Sosa hit that single in the 5th inning to break up the no-hitter, Blake Snell's no-hitter, you could see they rose up and they cheered because they just want so badly to help this team get going. Asked about it after the game, how surprised he is. Nick Castellanos said, I think the stadium is alive on both sides, right? When the game is going good, it's wind at our back. But when the game is not going good, it's wind in our face. So the environment can be with us, and the environment can be against us.
Just what we've talked about a handful of times in the past couple of weeks, how when things aren't going good, as Cassiano said, when they're behind, team gets tight, the ballpark gets tight, and the two sort of feed off each other. And all of a sudden, it engulfs you as a team. The pressure that's on this team is enormous, and they have not handled it well for the second straight October.
And I have to say this. I didn't think Snell was all that dominant. I really didn't.
23 swings and misses.
But he did not throw strikes. I mean, his
But that's his game, Chase. Part of his game.
And that's where I am surprised they didn't make any adjustments. They just seen him. It's something that we've talked about since spring training about not chasing.
It's in their DNA.
It's in their DNA, and they can't get it out. They can't get it out, and it's clear that they're dangerous hitters. They're not great hitters.
That's a great distinction. Great distinction. Hey, that's First Pitch, and it's presented exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. ParksCasino.com is the website. You must be 21 to participate. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All of our playoff coverage is brought to you by Fox One. Fox One is now live. Stream all of your Fox favorites together in one place, including all AL playoff games and the World Series. Today, watch Game 3 of the AL Division Series when Logan Gilbert and the Seattle Mariners faced Jack Flaherty and the Detroit Tigers. The series is tied at 1 game apiece as the series shifts to the Motor City at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then don't miss Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees looking to avoid elimination, like the Phillies against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Toronto Blue Jays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Expect the Bronx to be rocking. Stream both games on Fox One. From MLB postseason to NFL on Fox to Big Noon Saturdays with Fox One, you get it all live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to fox1.com for complete terms and conditions. Fox One, streaming now. Guys, there's so many different things have happened in Game 2. I wanted to mention the big boys. Phillies' top 3 hitters, Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, are a combined 2 for 21 with 11 strikeouts in the first 2 games of the NLDS. They do not have an extra base hit. Going back to the regular season, Kyle Schwarber's 0 for 21 with 13 strikeouts in his last 6 games. I think I saw this last night. I think his career worst hitless streak is like an 0 for 22. He's also 0 for 18 in his past 5 postseason games, dating to last year's NLDS against the Mets. So he's in a bad spot. The Phillies, in Bryce Harper's career postseason, 11-0 in games that he homers. They're 1-9 in games that he doesn't homer.
And there was a situation Monday night, 6th inning, that just was begging for some bedlam at the bank. And like Ruben said earlier, it doesn't feel like that exists anymore. I'm talking with Harper at the plate.
Right.
He's up there with 2 men on base against Snell and strikes out.
Strikes out a breaking pitch off the plate, well off the plate.
Trying to do too much.
Yeah, and
breaking pitch well off the plate.
Rob Thompson said that after Game 2, they think these guys are trying to do too much. You know, they probably are. You know, Harper has said after both games, missing too many hittable pitches, so he clearly thinks that he's letting some mistakes go by. I know for sure in Game 1 there were some pitches that he probably put him in the cage against that pitch over and over. He probably does damage against it. Did not do it the other night. It's a lot of plays kind of stick out. I don't know where you guys want to start, but let's maybe start at the very end. The wheel play.
So let's start with the one play in the latter part of the game where they could have cut the Dodgers down, playing with the infield in. Kirkring comes into the game. He makes a couple of really good pitches. Actually, almost gets out of the inning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think this is really, really big.
Big.
Ground ball to Turner. He makes a very athletic play. He's running a little bit across his throws and has to make a throw across his body a little bit. Teoscar Hernandez breaks immediately upon contact. If he throws the ball 1 foot to JT's left, the man is out at the plate. He doesn't. He pulls him to the right. He has to reach for the ball and make the tag. He's really good at it. JT is. That is a huge, huge play. If that play is made, then they only score, 1 run in that inning, and it's basically they're out of it. But he doesn't make that play, and then the next guy pops up, I believe. He gets a pop up. Does a nice job there, and then he spins a breaking ball, very first pitch. It's obvious that Smith is looking for it, and he hits the base hit to drive in 2 more runs. That was a gigantic play, and the Phillies didn't make the play. Not an easy play, but a play that can be made. Not an easy play, but the Phillies didn't make it.
One more thing about that play, and you're right, that was so pivotal. That was a broken bat ground ball. If that bat doesn't break, it gets to Turner a split second earlier, and maybe that affects the timing on the play. No, it slowed down because it was a broken bat.
Yeah, it's
all really charge hard.
Again, I mean, he charged hard, made a good athletic play, just pulled him to the first base side just enough for Teoscar Hernandez to get in.
There was a lot of lamenting of those little tiny moments, and Turner last night was asked about that play, and he said because his momentum was carrying him to the first, he said he ideally would try to maybe kind of sidearm it a little bit or drop it, but because he was moving towards the line, he kind of had to overhand it, and he said so he was kind of lamenting how that play developed, and I'm sure he's running through his head, if I could have just done this or that. Maybe
a little means a lot.
A little means a lot.
Little means a lot in the playoffs, man. One little play like that can change the whole dynamic. And that's what happened when you talked about the wheel play.
Well, Ruben, I want to ask you real quick, since you coached outfielders, how about the play that led to that? Freddie Freeman's double to right field. He does not stop running. He goes from home to second. Castellanos gets the ball, and he just kind of just throws it to first base. Now, Nick after the game said he did not expect Freddie to run to second base, and he said, I didn't hear any of my teammates yelling to throw to second base. He said he was kind of surprised by it. He said it was a great base running play by Freddie Freeman. I've never played the outfield, obviously. What do you make of that?
Your first thought, especially if there's a man on first base, if the ball gets past you, that's one thing. Man on first base, you get the ball in as quickly as you possibly can. To second base, you want to keep I always feel like you want to keep the double play in order. That was one really important piece of being an outfielder, is always, at the end of the day, keep the double play in order. You come up firing to second base. There are situations where if the runner is a phenomenal runner, if somebody can really, really run, then you have to be careful about throwing to second base such that that particular runner could score on a throw back to second base. That runner from first base could do that.
Right.
But in this case, Teoscar Hernandez is not that guy. So, I mean, you spin and you fire at second base, and you never assume that the guy's not going to go. You always try to keep that double play in order.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. Just made that inning.
I was surprised. I was actually not in the ballpark at the time, and I saw when the base hit came, I thought that at the end of the play it was first and third, and I looked up. I said, "Oh my word! It's second and third. How did that happen?" Because he had cut off the ball. It wasn't like he didn't cut it off.
We were all surprised that Freddie went to home to second, but
not a great outfield play. It's simple as that. And a little means a lot, guys.
There's magnified in October. These plays happen during the year. They're magnified at this time of year. They break your heart.
Absolutely. So now let's go to the ninth inning. Talked a lot about Castellanos already, and then, man, they get a couple guys on, and Nick Castellanos throws his bat head out. Boom, sends one to left field. He hauls ass to second base. He said, I don't know. He's like, Paco didn't tell me to stop. I got caught up in the moment, and I decided to run my butt off to second base. Barely makes it, but he made it. He barely made it, but he made it.
So two strange things. So
Okay.
he said that his teammates didn't tell him to throw to second base. First of all, you can't hear anything out there in right field. You have to know what to do with the baseball before something happens. You anticipate that. And as a batter runner, once you hit the baseball and you're turning, you can see the play in front of you. He is very fortunate that the swipe tag went in front of his hand instead of on his hand. And I mean, listen, you got to give him a lot of credit for putting the ball in play, because other guys on the team don't put the ball in play. But on that situation, he just touched it, and guess what happened? It doubled down the left field line. Fortunate. That is not Paco's responsibility to tell him to stop.
Right.
That is, once you're a base runner, you have the responsibility to do what you got to do. So I will tell you, as a first base coach, I'm not telling a guy to stop. That's his job. He has to, make his own decisions.
So he makes it. He makes it. And the crowd is finally going, all right, please, here we go. They were roaring. They were rocking. They were ready for a big hit. Bryson Stott comes up and bunts a ball up the third baseline. Wheel play executed to perfection. The Dodgers are saying after the game that they talked about that, obviously running. I think Max Muncy brought up the idea. It's like, let's run the wheel play here. And they were just like, Freddie Freeman, I saw the quote. He's like, he's like, a lot of times in spring training, you work on stuff and it literally never happens all year. You're like, all right, today we're working on the wheel play, fellas. And it's like, all right, never do it, never execute it. And then they just executed to perfection in game 2 in the 9th inning of the NLDS. What did we think of the play? What did we think of the decision for on Stott to bunt instead of swinging away? All of that stuff.
I mean, a lot there. The Dodgers, Roberts said they don't even practice it in spring training.
Oh, he said that. Okay.
He said that in his post-game press conference. Oh, we don't even practice that. Well, I'll tell you what, Max Muncy looked like he knew it like the back of his hand. Mookie, who knows if he's even a natural shortstop. He plays everywhere. He just, was brilliant on that play, beating Castellanos to the bag, getting the tag down, catching the ball, getting the tag down. There was so much there. The middle of the field's open. Stott can slash when he sees that play on. He doesn't. Thompson mentioned that. Stott said he was committed to the bunt because that was the sign that was put on. They could have, here's another thing. Mookie outruns Castellanos to the bag. With a full roster, maybe they can pinch run, but Bader's got a tight hamstring or a tight groin. So, and he's going to bat, and they can't pinch run because they need Weston Wilson to pick him up. So the bench got really short, and they, only had Rafael Marchand there. There was just all these little things just piled up against them. Dodgers made a great play. Phillies didn't have a fleet-footed guy on second base, and it just all kind of blew up on them. But you have to credit the Dodgers for being proactive and making a great play.
Yeah, so the only thing I'll say about this, the few things that I'll say about this is this starts a long time ago. We talked about the roster, and I am convinced that you do not need 12 pitchers on a 5-game series. If you have an extra man to play, you can bring a Johan Rojas or whoever that is, someone who can run off the bench.
Stubby.
Could have been Stubbs. Could have been Aiden Miller. It could have been anybody that they could have utilized in that situation. And they couldn't because they had to hold Weston Wilson because they knew that Bader can't run.
Right.
It makes it a problem. They can't pinch run the guy. He gets a horrendous jump off of second base. Like a horrendous. He was out by a lot. It wasn't by a little. And you got to give, the Dodgers credit. They made the plays when you have to make the plays. And the Phillies didn't make the plays. They got the base hits when they had to get the base hits.
Right.
Will Smith has a broken freaking arm and gets a 2-out base hit to help them win the game, basically. And the Phillies haven't been able to capitalize on any big base hits or make the plays that are necessary. And in a postseason where you have a talent level that's very, very close, you got to make the plays. And if you don't make the plays and you don't get the hits, you don't win the games.
Well, and let me just say this. They're going to have that same roster in game 3. So these same situations could pop up again. Maybe they don't. Maybe the top of the order finally goes off. They hit 4 home runs at Dodger Stadium in game 3. They hit a bunch more in game 4, and they come back to Philly, and Harrison Bader starts feeling better, can play the field. I don't know, but they're going to have those same roster restrictions. And you're right, Ruben. Think of how many times the Phillies have played in the DS, and have they used their long man?
They got 2 long men.
They got 3 long men.
They have Tim Mesa also. They have 3 guys that have been riding the pine.
Yeah,
I never could understand why. I could never understand. I mean, we used to play with 9 pitchers. I don't know. There's always a protection. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You can go with 9 pitchers.
And Rob has said in the past, we want a length guy for, because the extra inning rules are different. But you're right, like, to shorthand yourself for a situation like last night because maybe there's going to be a 16, 17 inning game. Yeesh.
I think it's a mistake. And it cost them a game, and it may cost them a series.
Yeah.
Well, the Red Sox, when Dombrowski was there, he won a World Series in an 18-inning game by having Eovaldi give him length. I mean, maybe that's in the back of their mind, but it just seems to me that Buehler, Taiwan, and Nola are, duplicates, where now we know they have a plan for Nola. So it's just it really came back to bite them last night.
Sure did.
Being a man down.
All right. So we'll wrap this up in a second. But first, Ruben, can you tell us what is going on this month at Parks Casino?
Yeah, Parks Casino is my casino of choice. They got it all. Got it all, boys. Action, excitement, headline, entertainment. Plus, if you live in central and northern New Jersey or in New York, the closest live tables are at Parks Casino off exit 6 of the Jersey Turnpike. Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. Play thousands of slots, state-of-the-art sports book, a beautiful poker room, the Liberty Bell Beer Garden, and a collection of award-winning restaurants. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Tickets on sale now for a bunch of headliners that were just announced. Straight No Chaser on December 5th. Comedian Ken Young on the 6th. December 12th, it's a Led Zeppelin tribute. Get the Lead Out. Plus, Almost Queen on the 25th of October here coming up. On the November 21st, it's Air Supply. And just so many things. ParksCasino.com to buy all the tickets for all these shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21 to gamble. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Philly Show is brought to you today by Fox One. So let's close on this. We have to look ahead a little bit to Game 3, and I'm in the clubhouse talking to different players, Ryan Kirkring, talking to the players after the game, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and goes, "Aaron Nola's starting Game 3." I'm like, "Aaron Nola's starting Game 3."
There's got to be something wrong with Ranger Suarez.
It doesn't make any sense, Ruben.
None of it.
I don't get it.
You hear this all the time, especially like basketball and football. You got to get the ball into your best player's hands. There's a chance that one of their best players is never going to get the ball. One of their best pitchers is never going to get the ball in his hands. With the game, with the series, still up for grabs. I mean, suppose Nola comes out and gives it up early, so you're going to put Ranger in as, behind a couple runs, 3-4 runs. I don't know. It's a total head scratcher. They say he's healthy. I just don't get it. To me, he had to have the ball in his hand in one of the first 2 games.
He has to. I mean, I don't really understand what's going on. I've been saying it. I don't know this for a fact, but I got to believe there's either one, he's got some kind of issue, or 2, I just don't know what's going on behind closed doors on this one, because he's one of the better pitchers in the history of the game in postseason play. Mm-hmm. Why not pitch him in one of the games that were tight prior if you're going to have Nola be the guy who's going to start? I just don't understand what's happening. other than the fact that there's got to be something physically wrong with the man, and they're holding that back, obviously, for competitive reasons.
It just seems incredibly risky with your season on the line. You look, this is a guy with 17 starts, an ERA over 6, was mostly ineffective or injured all season. And to put him out there in a save your season situation, and maybe like a save your job situation, every button Rob has pushed this series has, blown up. Has not worked, has blown up. And this is another one that if it doesn't work, well, you're going home for the winter, and now you could be looking at some kind of changes here. It's just I agree with you. It just feels like there's more to this because they're not putting the ball in that guy's hands, and he helped them get here.
And we were talking a lot. We spent 2 shows talking about those pitching decisions in game 1, and we talked about the idea that the Phillies said Ranger Suarez was there in the early innings in case something happened to Sanchez, and he was going to be available in high leverage situations in game 2. And so we kind of understood the game 1 stuff.
Has he even warmed up?
Right.
Did he even get up on the mound? There's something physically wrong with the guy. I'm convinced of that. And listen, I can understand if they're trying to keep that under closed doors, but I don't get it.
And just to be clear, Rob was asked specifically, is he healthy? Oh, yes. He says Ranger's going to be the guy coming in behind Nola. We will see. This has added an incredibly intriguing subplot to all of this.
No doubt.
There's so much to unpack with this series and what's going to happen in game 3. They got a long flight out there. Who knows what's going to happen, but I did like what Kyle Schwarber had to say to kind of wrap this up. He said, we're going to fly out there. We're going to think a lot about what's happened these first 2 games. We're going to look at some video. We're going to try to make some adjustments. And he's like, hopefully, and the goal is to go out there. He's like, we're coming back from LA regardless. Let's come back with some meaning, with something to play for, rather than just coming home because our season ended. So
hey. That may have been the last time the fans see Kyle Schwarber live.
Yeah, just
in a Phillies uniform.
A lot to consider because this could, who knows? He might be going. They got Rangers a free agent, JT's a free agent, and we said this when they were winning this summer that it feels like they need a shakeup. They need change this winter, even when things were going good. Even if things go good, they need to make changes. To me, this is just going to hasten those types of changes and make it more drastic and maybe more, wide ranging.
Absolutely. So game 3. Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium, Aaron Nola, surprisingly, against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We will be back to talk about game 3, good or bad or ugly or otherwise, on Thursday morning.
Smell you later, guys.
Smell you, Jim.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.